Hello journaling friends, welcome to my quiet and cozy little space. Today I thought I would share with you how I organise all of my ephemera when I'm travelling. I've been to Japan several times and each time I go I have, I guess you could call it a different approach as to how I want to journal when I'm there, and so that I guess changes what I bring with me on each trip. When I first discovered the joy that is Japanese ephemera, I started collecting little labels and stickers and tickets and whatnot, but I didn't really organise them in any way. I just had them basically dumped in a massive pile that I would then organise when I got home. So mid 2024, I found this super cute and very functional MUJI Organiser Case. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the video and I'll obviously show you how I use it. But previous to this most recent trip, I just relied on this case to, hold all my ephemera, I guess, while I was traveling. And then on my most recent trip, I came across this folder and changed things up a little bit. So I'm going to get into these two folders and what they do a little bit later. Firstly, I thought I'd talk more about how I do my junk journaling or my travel journaling, both actually, whenever I'm traveling. So I'll just get rid of these for one moment. So on previous trips to my last trip, I would always take my Hobonichi cousin and journal in it as I'm going. So basically doing a little bit of memory keeping and sticking down ephemera while I was on my travels. And obviously this means, she gets a bit chunky, which is fine, but I love to spend hours sitting in cafes, journaling, sometimes reading my book or just daydreaming, whatever. But cafe journaling does make up a huge part of my travels. I really enjoy it. It's really good for me. It makes me slow down. It brings me joy because I'm doing something that, just makes me feel really happy. I find that kind of travel day is more my thing than, getting up at the crack of dawn and then ticking off a list of sightseeing spots that I might like to see. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love sightseeing as well. And I will have the occasional day where I want to get up early to get somewhere at a certain time. That's fine. But for the most part, I really want to have days where I just basically do whatever, whenever I feel like it, at a very leisurely pace. So cafe journaling really falls into that space, I guess. So in the past, I have always taken my Hobonichi cousin with me and done my travel journaling and my junk journaling while I'm on my travels. This time, however, when I went in December to Japan, I took my traveler's notebook. I only purchased this traveler's notebook in the middle of last year, middle of 2025. So I think it was around August. Previous trips were before that, hence why I took my Hobonichi cousin. So this time I decided I was going to do my travel journaling a little bit differently to how I have done it in the past. So before, all of my travel journaling went into the one book. On this trip, I decided that I want to do my memory keeping of my travels in my Hobonichi cousin. So that way, day by day, I'd, put in photos and basically write down all of my memories. Also stick some ephemera in there, but I decided I was going to do this when I got home, so not during my trip. And then I decided that I was going to get a pink paged insert that I really, really love the look of for my traveler's notebook. And I was going to use that purely to stick down ephemera. And so I thought I would do that while I was in Japan during my travels. So Hobonichi cousin, memory keeping when I get home, and traveler's notebook, junk journaling while I'm there. I really loved how this turned out. Not that I feel any pressure when I'm traveling to do my journaling because, as I mentioned before, I love doing it. And it actually becomes a huge part of my travels. But this time I wasn't sitting down in cafes or even, at my accommodation in the evening when I got back to jot down my actual memories. I was just opening my traveler's notebook and sticking down ephemera. So it was a little bit different to what I would usually do on past trips. In terms of keeping my memories and remembering what I did each day, I obviously have my camera roll. So I don't take a ton of photos when I'm traveling. I do and I don't. Some days, I'll look at my camera roll and it's, filled with videos and photos that I've taken on one particular day. And then the next day there's like 2 photos. So it just depends on what I'm doing, I guess. So what I do is I have a running note in my notes app on my phone, and in that every night I would put the day and the date, and then sometimes just kind of like dot point format of what I had done in the day, where I had been. But then other days would be extensive notes, especially if there's a lot of feelings and thoughts involved in what I had done. If I had seen something nice or had a really nice interaction with people, then that would usually end up with me jotting down a lot of thoughts and feelings as well in my notes app. So when I go back now and look at my notes app, I have one entry that just covers from the day I arrived to the day I left Japan. And that way, when I go back into my Hobonichi cousin on my return, which I've been doing, every time I flip to a certain page, I just go to that notes entry, and then I also check out my camera roll and, print photos and whatnot. So that's how I did my travel journaling this trip. So I will do a flip through of my memory keeping travel pages another time. But for today, I was just going to talk more about how I organise my ephemera and what I collect when I'm travelling. So I think we'll get onto that. And also, after I've shown you how I do my ephemera organising rather, I will do a little mini flip through of my travel journal, my junk travel journal, and how it's looking so far. So as I mentioned earlier, I found this MUJI A5 Organiser Case. It was around, I think, the middle of 2024. I was spending 3 months in Japan and I was frequenting MUJI a lot, as you do. And I came across this case and I loved the look of it. But at the first instance, I guess, of seeing it, I didn't really know what I would use it for. So I didn't pick it up. And then the next time I went into MUJI, which, let's be fair, was probably a few days later, I looked at it again and I was kind of just, I guess marinating ideas or trying to think of ways that I could use it. I didn't want to just buy it and then not have a use for it. To be fair, when I have done that and purchased something that I wasn't sure if I'd have a use for it stationery wise, I've always found use for it. Anyway, so a couple of visits later, I finally decided that I was just going to use it to put all my ephemera in. So as I mentioned earlier, on previous trips and obviously on this particular trip, I was just putting all my ephemera in a massive junk pile. It was just a pile and I was just shoving it all on top of each other. There was no order to it. It wasn't organised in any way. And so this trip, I just put all of the ephemera in a pile in this folder. So what I was doing was I was opening the case and basically just shoving it all in. Actually, I did do a video. It might have been on Instagram. I'll link it in the description if I can find it, where I actually organised this massive pile of junk that I had into little categories, I guess you could say, and then I filed them or stored them in here, organised them in here. So I do have a video on that. Maybe it was a YouTube video. I need to find it. Anyway, I will pop a link in the description because it's quite fun to see how I went from this massive pile, and we're talking, I was there for 3 months. And this is me, every time I'm out and about, I'm keeping all the labels, food packaging, lolly wrappers, tickets, brochures, stickers, you name it. I was just keeping everything. I'm the one in the cafe peeling off, my coffee cup sticker. So yeah, when I got back from that trip, I opened this, basically just opened it up and all of this junk just fell out of it. And then I had the pleasure of just sitting there and organising it all and then putting it neatly back into this case. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So the way I organise my ephemera in this case is really super simple. I put in, big lolly packets. It's common knowledge that I'm a huge fan of Peko-chan milky lollies. So I have those packets in there, and then I keep any stickers that, I don't want to misplace, would just get stuck on here. And obviously these end up in my journal later on. And then in this little zip pocket, just got things like stationery packaging that I don't want to throw out. I mean, these are just way too cute to throw out. We've got a little bit of junk. That's off a straw, I'm assuming, straw packet. A sugar packet from Komada Coffee. My ski pass ticket from when I went skiing. And lolly wrapper. You get the drift. It's just basically, anything that's too cute to throw away. I've got film canister, packaging, that kind of stuff. Oh, and then also like the gutcha little pamphlet that comes inside the gutcha. Yeah, just basically lolly wrappers, all sorts of stuff. Packaging, coasters. I like to collect coasters, as you can tell. Comet coffee coaster is probably my favourite. Starbucks. And then we've just got some little labels, you know, labels off clothing, more lolly wrappers, some food packaging, labels that come off my favourite vitamin C drink, that kind of stuff. So I love this organiser case because, again, you can obviously organise whatever you want. I mean, I've seen people use this for stationery, which looks amazing. You know, you could put stickers in here. So yeah, but I like using it to organise all my ephemera. So as I mentioned before, what I did was I just opened this up and I just had shoved all of my ephemera in here. And this thing, although it doesn't look that big, it actually fits so much in here. I've had this, you know, really stuffed with lots of ephemera. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like brand new. So obviously when I've got it home, I've decorated it with some cute Yumi Kiragishi stickers and some Mizutama stickers and some soda washi tape because, you know, I had to personalize it. Oh, this actually does have, I'll just open it again so I can explain and show you. This actually does have a pocket here. So you can, you know, you can put something inside this, in between the inside and the plastic exterior. So, you know, you can put a pamphlet or something or whatever you like. I've seen people even put their journal in there. But I just like the cream colour, so I preferred to decorate the outside. So this is probably my favourite stationery find ever. I absolutely love it. I do have a couple that I picked up on my most recent trip, so I will do a giveaway soon, which is so fun. When I first got mine, I just couldn't find them online at all. I do now have a link for these, so I will pop that in the description for you. Otherwise, if you're going to Japan, all the MUJI stores stock this, so you will definitely find it. But I'm going to show you what it looks like brand new. So this is her brand new. As I mentioned, I am going to have a giveaway. So this little cutie could be yours. I'll probably have the giveaway on Instagram at some stage, but anyway, I'll let you know. So this is what it looks like brand new, and then you just get inside the pencil case. So it's got like a mesh on one side and then plastic on this side, and it's obviously got all these pockets are built in, and same with the big one. But then you can buy the pocket inserts separately, which look like this. So there are all different types, by the way, but these are the ones that I have that have the little, what do you call it? Flap closure thing at the top. And then there's also these ones without the closure at the top, so you just slide things in. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. I will be having a giveaway soon for one of these in cream, and I also did pick up a moss green one. I asked on my Instagram page, I did a poll. Sorry, the zip's probably really loud. And I asked people what colour they preferred, and cream was the front runner with the moss green not far behind. So I do have one of each to give away at some stage soon. And then I want to just talk about this trip. I actually had an idea to be a little bit more organised. I think this is a thing with me. I just pick up things as I go. You know, it's just trial and error. I do something a certain way. I pack certain things one trip, and then, you know, I realise during that trip that perhaps I didn't need to pack this, or, you know, or I missed something that I should have brought along. So this trip, I decided I'm going to be a little bit more organised and keep the ephemera day to day, if that makes sense. Like keep it in a daily organisation kind of process. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. So I didn't really think about this until I was in Japan. I was actually just going to stick everything into the other case that I showed you. But I was in MUJI, as one does, visits frequently, and I saw this postcard photo album. Actually, I'm going to show you what it looks like brand new. Okay, so this is what it looks like brand new. It's called a photo and postcard holder. It's basically just a photo album, and obviously has one pocket with 2 compartments to hold a postcard or photo. So that's what it looks like brand new. And then this is what she looks like once she's been stuffed with ephemera. So even though I wasn't planning on junk journaling day by day, as in, you know, the junk that I collected on one day is going to be one page, and then the junk that I collected the following day is going to be another page, I was thinking of just basically sticking all the junk into my junk journal however I want, not day by day. But I still thought it would be fun to try and keep all the junk organised day by day, purely just so I could, I guess in a way, then use some of that junk also on my daily pages in my cousin, where I was going to do all the memory keeping. And I don't know, it just felt a bit more organised. So I really enjoyed this, and I would definitely do this on future travels as well. So yeah, this is what she looks like. She's gotten quite chunky. I have taken so much stuff out of this already, because you'll see in a moment when I do my little junk travel journal flip through that I have already done. I think I've filled half of my insert already, almost. So I've used up a lot of this junk already. But yeah, this was really chunky. It still is a little bit chunky. But yeah, basically just keeping, you know, receipts. Also, I photocopy most of my receipts. I'll show you actually. So yeah, this is all of my receipts from my recent trip photocopied onto paper, copy paper, because as we know, that paper that receipts come on, you know, being the thermal print, can fade over time. I've even noticed sometimes when I stick receipts into my journal, just by putting the glue on the paper, sometimes, yeah, the print does fade a little bit. So I don't want to be opening my journal in 10 years' time and I can't make any sense of what I've stuck into it. So I found some copy paper in my local stationery store that is the perfect match for the Hobonichi cousin paper. The first time I copied some receipts and then I cut them out and stuck them into my journal, I noticed that the copy paper, the stock standard copy paper that was in the printer at my local stationery store, was really stark white. It was blue, essentially, compared to the Hobonichi cousin paper. So I took my journal into Officeworks one day and I basically was trying to marry up the colour of the pages in the cousin with copy paper that they had available. So I found this particular paper. It's a silk type, I think. It's quite smooth. It's not glossy, but it's a bit smoother than your stock standard copy paper. And I take this with me now whenever I'm doing copying anything or even printing things to go into my Hobonichi cousin, so the paper matches. And it is a perfect match. So yeah, I photocopy all of these receipts, but while I'm traveling, I do just leave the receipts in this folder with the ephemera. That's what she looks like. You know, I keep things like, again, like I did in my other MUJI Organiser case, coasters, little cutouts from brochures that I come across. I actually kept this bag that the Family Mart socks came in. I'm obsessed with convenience store socks. I have so many of the Lawson ones. I pretty much just wear them all the time, but I did find these Family Mart ones. So yeah, that'll end up getting cut out in some way. I don't know, I might even use the bag in my journal somehow. We shall see. I mean, I even just like the little price tag. I love price tags. Yeah, anything I collected on one particular day, I just slid into here. And any stickers that I got, you know, from Lawson, Family Mart and my coffee cups just got stuck on the outside because obviously they peel off quite easily on this plastic, from this plastic. Same thing, drink labels, biscuit wrappers, any of the ephemera at Commodore Coffee because I just love that place and I love the packaging. The branding is so cute. And these little, they're not peanuts, but they're some type of nut packets that you get. They come in different colours. So I have them in purple, blue, orange, I think. Yeah, anyway, so that's basically all of the ephemera that I collected on this particular trip went into this folder. And yeah, easy. So I think I might do a little bit of a mini flip through of my travel journal. It is definitely not anywhere near being complete, but yeah, it might be fun to have a look through it. Okay, here she is. I will do a full flip through of my traveler's notebook one day, not today. But yeah, I essentially have at the moment 4. So I realise this keeps clanging on the desk. 4 inserts. That first one is my sentimental journal pages. This one is my mood and I guess habit tracker, mood tracker. I still can't find the right word for this little insert. And then I have my happy mail log. This little insert has taken on a look and shape that I love so much. Like I wasn't expecting it to look so cute inside. I'll do a flip through of this later another time, but I'm really enjoying this and I'm enjoying sitting down, you know, when I receive happy mail and kind of giving it a little moment of gratitude, I guess, you know, and a moment of thanks by, writing down how I felt receiving it and maybe putting in a photo of the envelope or, you know, the letter or the contents itself. And then if there's stationery in the happy mail, then I'll pop in, you know, little swatches of that as well, some washi tape or stickers or whatever. But I'm really enjoying this. And I'm also enjoying documenting whenever I send mail. When I'm overseas, I usually I always try and send some postcards. So, you know, I've even documented that in here with a photo of, you know, me sitting at a cafe in Finland with all these postcards and just the process of sitting down and writing snail mail is so joyful for me. So I think this little insert has been quite the little surprise for me. And then we've got my travel journal, my junk travel journal. I still have quite a lot to do in here. Like I said earlier, I'm sort of halfway through. I think I've just hit the halfway mark. Yes. But even some of the pages that I have finished, or I've started rather, I haven't finished yet. So, but I'll give you a little tiny flip through anyway. So on the cover, I have stuck down some, you know, Japan related stickers. There's some ephemera from Traveller's Company because obviously this is my Traveller's Notebook. And then a little sticker that I got from the Moomin shop when I was in Japan. A sticker that I got from Traveller's Factory in Tokyo Station. And then some Peko-chan ephemera from one of the lolly packets, obviously. And then this Yamato black cat that I've had this sticker for ages, like I want to say years, and I just never really found a place for it. So I think it looks really cute on this cover. So on the inside, I've put this really super cute picture of these girls from this brochure that I picked up and some Christmas stickers because I was there over Christmas, which was delightful. Some ephemera from some sticker sheets that I bought. And then, basically, I'm not going to walk through, like tell you where I got every bit of junk, but this was a gift from my friend. It obviously had stickers inside. It was a paper bag, but I've kept the outside of it. A cute little bookmark that I got from Jimbocho, the book district, if you haven't been there. Traveller's Factory business card. And just all the little bits of ephemera. So like even looking at this, I know exactly where these came from because this was the first day when I arrived in Japan. It was my first cup of coffee from Lawson, my favourite coffee, convenience store coffee, I should say. Again, I'm not going to walk you through everything, but these are just things that I've picked up on my travels. I also love just trying to peel off stickers off things, you know, big camera. And then when you buy things from a pharmacy, they often put this sticker on. I guess it's to show that you've bought it, you've already purchased it. And then I got this sticker from the person that served me Big Camera gave me this, which I thought was really cute. And then, a map, Hobonichi brochure, a sticker. Actually, I got this sticker ages ago, but thought it just looked really cute on this page. As I mentioned earlier about receipts fading, so I did a lot of this junk journaling while I was still in Japan. So as I mentioned before, I didn't take my Hobonichi cousin at all. So this little insert basically got taken out at cafes, I'd sit down and I'd just stick down some of the ephemera that I'd picked up on that day or previous days, whichever. And because I hadn't photocopied my receipts just yet, all of the ones in here are the originals. So I did the photocopying when I got home. So you can see here, because I think sticking it down is fine, but then I've glued this transparent packet from Soup Stock Tokyo over the top, and the glue from that has completely faded the receipt. But that's okay. I actually like the look of it, I think, because that's over the top. And then cutting up my favourite Lawson coffee cups. The coffee cups change all the time. They have seasonal ones and, ones like celebrating certain things, certain days. So yeah, I like to collect those and cut them up. Station stamp. Oh, I did this stamp rally at a tower in Yokohama, so that was really fun. Just some packaging from some of my favourite food, convenience store food that I always get when I'm there. Of course, my luggage was heavy. Of course. This is just a spread that's got all packaging, food packaging. Oh, and some stationery ephemera as well. Stationery ephemera. So I did this when I got home. All of these, like a lot of these first ones I had done while I was still in Japan. And then this one I did when I got home, obviously, because I had opened up all of my stationery. So none of this ephemera was going to go in the bin. And then this was a pamphlet that I picked up at Bumpodo Gallery in Jimbocho. I will probably stick some stuff on top of this, but for now, I actually really love the colours and the designs on here. So I don't know, but I was thinking to stick some ephemera related to that particular visit on here, but we'll see. So from here, I've finished most of those first pages, whereas from here, this is still a work in progress. So I will end up covering this with ephemera. Packaging from all my favourite cosmetic items, hair care and skincare and whatnot. Warming shop, of course. So this is a receipt that I have copied. And then these pages, also unfinished. So this is from a brochure from the tower that I visited in Yokohama. So it basically, when you pulled it out, it was one, wide image, and I've just cut it to fit across these 4 pages. I will decorate all of this as well with more ephemera. This one is unfinished, just stuck down some of my Komodo coffee favourite bits and pieces. A Starbucks cup, again, also they have seasonal designs, I guess, on their cups. I probably might cut that in the middle because I feel like it's restricting, the pages. And then we've got stuff from Traveller's Factory. And what I did with this was a paper bag, and I've actually continued it over this side. So, yeah, thought that was kind of fun. But I think this spread's finished, but I am going to stick more stuff here. And I also just stuck down a bit of one of my favourite washi tapes. It's got this transparent look to it with this eggshell pattern in like pink, orange and yellow. I love that. And I thought it just looked really cute on the pink paper. I haven't finished this spread either. Just a bit of an ode to my favourite coffee. I think this spread is pretty much done. All of the strawberries. And that's it. So yeah, I'm about halfway through. Just over. But most of these pages are done. But yeah, basically from, actually no, I think from here, I've still got quite a bit to do. So yeah, I've got a little bit there and then the other half. And that's the back. So I'm going to leave this here, I think. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for stopping by and for joining me in my little, I guess, overview or walkthrough of how I was junk journaling, or travel journaling rather, on this most recent trip to Japan. I feel like the way I did it on this trip, in terms of keeping the memory keeping for when I get home, but doing some junk journaling while I was there, really, really worked for me. I feel as if sitting down and doing the memory keeping part of my trip after getting home has given me the space to really relive the memories. It's been so lovely. But I also did really enjoy sitting down in a cafe while I was there, taking out this traveler's notebook and sticking down some ephemera. I guess it was a nice little opportunity to, have a play with the junk that I'd collected, because I find all this stuff so joyful, which is obviously why I like to junk journal. It makes my heart smile, I guess. Okay, it's getting cheesy now. I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thanks so much for giving me this space to share my journaling and stationery joy. And if you feel so inclined, say hello in the comments and let me know, how do you journal your travels? Do you like to journal, day by day while you're traveling, or do you prefer to keep your memory keeping, or whatever way in which you journal, for when you get home? Or do you do a bit of both like I did? I feel like this trip, this really worked for me. I'm really happy with how it worked out. Thank you again for stopping by, and I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye.